Right, you go to the library's homepage, right? So let's take a look here. And I'm not trying to insult your intelligence at all. But you go, there's a link obviously on the web page, but you can also just go to libraries.missouri.state.edu and it takes you to the website. How many of you physically walked in the library? Okay, good, that's nice to know. Good. But if you're looking at databases, what kind of databases do you use? Where do you go? Let's go back. If you get a topic and you're told you got to research this topic, what's your first course of action usually?
Honestly, this is good at articles and databases and find which one correlates to the subject.
Excellent. You go to articles and databases. What are your favorites?
There's one that just has like a generality of almost pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I haven't used that many like specific ones, except for like medical records and
Yeah.
experiments, stuff like that.
Okay. What about, does the word EBSCOhost, okay, that's your academic search complete,
Yeah.
and that tends to give you complete newspaper articles, sometimes journal articles, magazine articles. You're not going to get anything web-based off of academic search complete. So you know you're going to get it from there. But keep in mind, again, this is, again, just a problem I've run into. Sometimes people think the source then is EBSCOhost. That's not the source, right? All the source material is on that article when you click on it. JSTOR is wonderful for finding journals that are more scholarly. Nexus, Uni tends to be all newspaper articles. But any of these article databases are credible and they're going to take you to good information. I don't think Google is the Antichrist. I think Google can be wonderful and you can find really good stuff on Google, but you have to wade through it. Google, how many do you ever use Google Scholar? Yeah, do you like it? Sometimes, I mean, it's still, I think you'll have more luck with the databases here, but it's still very helpful. So that's where I would suggest you begin your search for information. Okay, take a look with me when we're talking about APA at the Purdue Online Writing Lab. Have you ever used Purdue? Yes? Okay. Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad if you know how to navigate it. In this case, you're going to come, it's got all these pop-ups now, but whatever. Stop. And you just go to the APA guide, and it's going to take you to how to do in-text citations and how to do your reference page. For APA, it's just a little bit different. Like MLA always has the date after the title and source. In APA, it's right after the author. APA is author's last name, first initial. Does not use the first name at all. They're just minor differences in formatting. So I want to take you through a few examples of some sources and how they would look with APA formatting, okay? And we'll do this again, but I want to just give you a glimpse. Is this the key? No, this is the key. Okay. So here's a sample. You're going to read it. Let me make it a little bit bigger. The first is just the source as it came from EBSCOhost. Okay? The second is how it would look as an APA reference. You've got this, in this case, there's no author. So you just skip where the author would go. And you have the title of the article. Notice that the title of the article is not in quotation marks in APA. Then you have the date, the year first, then the month. Then, of course, in italics, you have the title of the source. The volume number is also in italics. Then the issue number is in parentheses, but it's not in italics. And then you've got the page number and where it was found and where you accessed it. Okay? I want you to look at this and tell me if you were quoting this article in your speech, how would you go about doing that? What would you say?
Well, there's no author or credentials for the author because there's no author.
Right.
So you just talk about the source and the date. So you can talk about like the information from the Ukraine call October 23rd from October 2019.
And you definitely include the source, which is Time International.
Yeah.
Because that alone gives it some credibility. You know what the magazine Time is, and this is the international version of Time. So that would lend itself to some credibility. The top is a whole lot more like an MLA citation. So you can kind of see the difference between the two. Obviously, guys, you don't have to memorize how to do this. You go to Purdue or wherever you go to APA, or your citation generator. But I wanted you to see the difference, how it looks. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, here is another one. This time it does have authors. Okay, if you see, and hopefully you've read the article, you know, if you're using this. How would you find out who Raz and Saint-Laurent are? Yeah, Google them. They'll tell you who they are. And that way, when you orally cite them, you can tell us that they're doctors of medicine or whatever they are. So how would you, and you can see there how it's, you can see that it kind of gets it, the format for each APA citation kind of follows the same pattern. It just changes a little bit based on what kind of source it is, right? So how would you orally cite that one? Yeah, Elizabeth.
I just have, like, I'm not questioning you, but my GEP teacher, she said
Yeah.
that the biggest thing about APA 7 is that you're not supposed to capitalize all of the
Oh, in the
title.
article title?
Yeah,
Oh, I forgot. I need to change that.
just because she said that that's like the biggest change.
Yeah, there weren't that many. I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to change this from 7. Thank you for saying that. So it would just be opposing family separation policies for the welfare of children in lowercase.
Yeah, unless it's like a
Proper noun.
pronoun, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So how could you orally cite this one? Elizabeth?
Would you say their full name?
Um,
Michael, Raz, and Vivek?
I think you could if you wanted it to sound better.
Okay, so Michael, Raz, and Vivek, and Fran, and then if they have credentials.
Right. Which you would look up.
Which I would look at, from the American Journal of Public Health, from November 2019, talk about opposing family separation policies for the welfare of children.
Exactly, good. And another thing you want to do when you're integrating evidence into your speech is you want to vary how you say it. So you don't say according to every time, or you don't say reported that, but try to mix it up so it doesn't get boring. And also really practice doing it so that that's not when you have to like be married to your card. So it's something you can practice. Good. You get the how it kind of goes. A reference page, we'll talk about the formatting of that too, but you can also see examples of that online. But here's what I really want you to think about. And next week, still check the weekly folders, but I'm going to try to leave you alone next week and actually give you a break. But make sure this week you come up with a topic and maybe start fishing around and doing some research on that topic. But really, it can be anything as long as it's appropriate for us to learn about. And also, don't forget to do your reflection of your process speech, okay? And just submit that there on Blackboard as well. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, so you know how to be ethical and informative. Good. I'm so glad you guys watched the debate and that we talked about it. I hope you have a wonderful fall break. And great job on your speeches, really.